The day that Jesus resurrected, unbelievable. Why are you even doing this? Why? Unbelievable. They should never invite you again. Wow.
It is Easter Sunday, and I'm going to do a cookbook haul. I'm doing a collaboration with my friend Paislie. We both bought a bunch of cookbooks from a secondhand store, ThriftBooks, and also our friend from Southern Farm and Kitchen, Kat, gave us a link to this secondhand store. I'll put the link in the description. There are some really good deals in that secondhand store through eBay. If you search the word cookbook, you kind of have to sift through some garbage, but if you search for something like Taste of Home, Gooseberry Patch, you'll be able to find a lot of cookbooks that way too. This haul is kind of large. So our mailbox receptacle is like around the whole block. You went to pick up the mail one day?
Couple of days.
He walked, and inside the huge parcel locker was like stacks of really heavy books. He carried them all back. Yeah, I'm gonna try to go through these a little bit quicker than I'd like to. If you're interested, I do flip throughs on my Instagram all the time of different cookbooks. But for now, I'm just gonna show you the cookbook I got, kind of flip through it a little bit, talk about the reason why I got it. I feel like some of the best cookbooks come from small town community cookbook, because you think about the people in a town, they want to submit their best recipe so that they can be Sally on the corner submitted this recipe and she made it to the first page of this cookbook, right? So I always look for cookbooks that are specific to a town or a community or a church. This, in this case, is, I think it's just a boarding house. Winner of the James Beard Regional Classics Restaurant Award, Mrs. Wilkes' Famous Recipes. I love looking for books like this, and that's why I was drawn to this one. Then I got a little book here, Julia Child. I've got a couple Julia Child books. There were 3 books that I didn't receive in my ThriftBooks order, and I had never had a situation where I needed to contact customer service, but I did, and it was near midnight that I noticed I didn't get 3 of my books, and it was just last night on Saturday night. By the time I got up in the morning and looked at my email, I had been refunded for those 3 books already. They apologized that they weren't included in my order, and they said, we don't have them in stock, we're so sorry, and they just refunded me on Easter Sunday. I couldn't believe it. So I'm now even more of a fan of ThriftBooks than I was before. The angle has shifted a little until I can get more books to stack my camera up on. From the eBay website, I got Make It and Freeze It. I am pregnant, due in the middle of May, and for each pregnancy, I've made tons of, usually casserole or pasta dishes, breakfast burritos, breakfast sandwiches, lactation cookies. I put them all in the freezer. I wanted a cookbook to get ideas from so that I could freeze some meals, and not the same old casseroles I always freeze for when I'm due. That'll just make life easier. I'll do it. I can do it. One of my favorite things to do is watch old Martha Stewart videos, and I saw this baking handbook. And I do love me some Martha. What would you call those?
What?
Like HelloFresh and Blue Apron and all that. Food subscriptions. Martha Stewart had a food subscription.
Was it food from jail?
Food from jail? Her food service, I really liked it. So what I did was, I went through all the food services that could possibly exist. Sunbasket, Gobble, I think is another one, and I only did the trial period and then I canceled each one. So for like 3 or 4 months we had very discounted, you know, to me it wasn't worth it to keep purchasing it at the non-discounted price. So I just tried every single food subscription service available and then canceled. The deals aren't as good now as they were back then, but this is a cookbook haul video. The next cookbook I got is from, what do you say about this lady?
Is that the one? I like the best looking fella out there anyhow, but I mean, she got a round face.
I don't have any of Giada's cookbooks, and I just wanted one. Giada? I don't really know. But she makes pasta. My husband eats pasta, so I figured I'd get one of these. And another thing I look for in cookbooks, I look for small town cookbooks, a congregation of people submitting their best recipes. I look for restaurants, inns, bed and breakfast cookbooks. I look for compilations of several cookbooks in one, and I also look our highest rated Taste of Home best recipes of 2005 or contest winners. If you get recipes online, you can usually find a review about it so you know whether or not it's even worth making, but in a cookbook, you're not really sure if it's gonna be good or not. If you get a cookbook that is focused on contest winners, that means that they were great to very many people. It's basically they're already reviewed in a cookbook. So that's why I picked up Food Network Favorite. You know how you can go to foodnetwork.com and look at the recipes and they're like 5 stars, 4 stars? I'm assuming this would mean these were the higher rated recipes from all of the people in the Food Network. And that's why I picked up this. Another type of cookbook I like are these church cookbooks. I've got a lot of church supper cookbooks because I think some of the best food I've had, I don't know if it's because of nostalgia or what, potluck food, classic casseroles, salads, they remind me of home growing up. The nostalgia when I eat them is just, I just always have had really good food at potlucks at churches. So I look for church cookbooks. This recipe book, I was in boot camp with a girl who was raised in Hawaii, and she knows, she's a foodie. So I got this basically because of her. I've been sending her pictures of these recipes, asking her what some things are, giving me the lowdown on a lot of these, and I'd like to try some of the ones that she suggests. I envision when my children are older and not so picky, God willing, that we'll have theme nights, like a cuisine and decorate the table in such a way that we could indulge in specific cultures from all around the world and learn about what they were eating. A few weeks ago on Instagram, I was talking about how I liked the idea of making cocktails. I feel like the dessert type drinks with the little umbrellas. I don't like the taste of alcohol. This is probably what has stopped me all these years. But I really like the idea of a fancy, fun little drink. But I would probably make like a mocktail version, like a virgin version. So I got this happy hour cookbook. I don't know enough about alcohol to substitute these things, so I'm gonna spend a lot of time on Google. So this one, isn't that cute? I have fancy glasses and everything that I really just use for smoothies. Orange juice, raspberry flavored rum, in which case you could probably just use raspberry syrup, and then triple sec, but I don't know what triple sec is or what it tastes like. But there's just a bunch of fun drink ideas, and I've always wanted to have all the kids with a bunch of mocktails after dinner and have a fun little fake drink. So I wanted some inspiration from that cookbook.
No chicken.
You want some chicken? My husband said that he wanted to try to learn how to barbecue. Satirical news company, and they put out fake headlines, and one of the fake headlines was, "Woman gets her husband into barbecue to trick him into cooking," and it made me laugh. I got the barbecue Bible. I got that for you.
What's this?
Sit on the camera while you
The barbecue Bible.
What do I, Mama?
I'm gonna go get you chicken nuggets.
Bible.
I'm taking rabbits.
I want a barbecue because I'm tired of smelling the neighbor's joints. Crazy good food, and I'll be in here eating not that. And I got tired. I'm tired. I was like, yo, I need to learn how to do what they doing because them people is eating. This is alright though.
What?
This here,
Yeah.
barbecue. A lot of words though, but that's the gist of it, right, Munya? No, I'm talking to her.
Hot. You gotta hang on, okay? It's a little hot.
Yeah.
I think my husband covered why I got the barbecue Bible. Then I got this cookbook because I Googled what are the best cookbooks in the world or something like that. And this blog came up and this woman had mentioned 10 or 12 cookbooks and the reasons why she loved them. And one of the cookbooks was a Moosewood restaurant cookbook, but it wasn't this one. It was another one that I got also. I think it's a school because they have students at the Moosewood restaurant. Anyhow, there's a few Moosewood cookbooks. One in particular mentioned in her blog I got on Amazon and it said it was the only copy left. Maybe they're on ThriftBooks, ABE books. I'm not sure, but I got a couple of the Moosewood cookbooks because of that blog. I got this cookbook because one of my close friends watches this gal. I'm pretty sure it's her. Camila, is this the girl? Anyway, I got this because of Camila. And I hope it's for the right person. And when I first started cooking, my husband and I lived in San Diego, and I cooked from a cookbook called Cooking for Two. I have a video out about my top 3 favorite cookbooks, and each of them is for a different season of life. The Cooking for Two cookbook was my favorite for when it was just my husband and I didn't have to cook for so many people. And I will never forget the time I made this steak that had a pan sauce, and there was just this little tiny bit of sauce left in the pan, and I poured it on his steak. What did you say?
What you said?
Remember in San Diego when I made you that steak? So since then I have paid a lot of attention to pan sauces and tried to make sauces when I cook meat. Long story short, I got a book of sauces to try to impress my husband so I could make him a bunch of different foods with sauces. Yes, I'm trying to impress you, darling. Do you guys remember this man? You jealous?
Jealous. Everywhere. Keep playing. Remember this man. This man. You right, we won't keep playing.
I always like getting used books because there's little notes from people. It says, good cooking, good eating, good living. And then it's Oh, it's signed by him.
Yo, easy. A little too excited for that signature.
A Creole Cajun cooking kind of person. I got this just because I remember from when I was little. The title in itself is appealing. Forgotten Recipes. I am obsessed with vintage cookbooks because I feel like there's a hidden, you know how people talk all the time, they're just sitting around at work and they're like, man, my grandma used to make this dish XYZ, and they just try to remember it, and nobody knows how to cook it anymore, and I feel like it's just on an index card in somebody's drawer, and it's this secret to behold. So I try to find really old cookbooks because I feel like there's some gems in there. There's also some really strange things happening. I find some really weird things, especially if it's a cookbook from the 70s. They always use Jell-O. 1947 brown beef balls and onion gravy. 1895 beef steak rolls. I've always been fascinated with food from ages ago. Another freezer pleaser cookbook for the same reason I got the first one. I can't wait to just read every single one of these. I've read these behind me multiple times. That's all I do. If I have a second of free time, if I'm not doing this, I'm sitting down reading a cookbook. You can ask my husband. Best of the Old Church Cookbook. Another church cookbook. The reasons why I got that I mentioned previously. This video is gonna be really long if I don't start hurrying up. How to cook without a book. Isn't that ironic? Like if I read this, maybe I wouldn't need all of these. I'm a very insecure cook. I'm afraid to not follow a recipe. I don't feel like I have the natural knack to be a chef and taste things and just add things creatively. So I was hoping to read this and feel a little bit more confident about flavor profiles, just to feel more confident in the kitchen and to freestyle a bit more. And I have here 3 cookbooks in one. I like compilation cookbooks. Baking collection. This should have everything I need to become an excellent baker. Taste of Home Favorites, 25th anniversary cookbook. It's in rough shape, but I got a discount on it. If they're favorite recipes, that means they're probably all good, and if I make something from this, I shouldn't be wasting my time. It should come out amazing. Got another Julia and Jacques. The other cookbook I'm missing was also a Julia Child cookbook that they reimbursed me for. Best of the best. The 100 best recipes from the best cookbooks of the year from Food and Wine. Best of the best. Apparently this is a subscription that you can buy. So now I'm a little skeptical. But anyway, these should be, right, the best recipes. We'll see. What they did do was they sent me this cookbook when I've already got it. Barefoot Contessa at home, right down there on the ground. I ordered Back to Basics and they gave me this one instead. You want more cheese? And that's actually the reason why I started to look at my ThriftBooks order, because I know for a fact that I had this and I wouldn't have ordered it. So I went into my ThriftBooks and I was like, did I get that by mistake? And I looked it up and sure enough I didn't. And then I had noticed the other 2 books that were missing and then they refunded me for all of them. So now I have this. So I was thinking about giving this one away. Cooking in a 9x13. That is, to me, is synonymous with easy. So I got a cookbook specifically to use my 9x13 dish a lot. The Bisquick cookbook. I've got a box of Bisquick, and I think in one of my cooking videos a couple months ago I even mentioned that I needed to look up ways to use my Bisquick. And if you're on my Instagram, I made a quick Bisquick casserole breakfast sausage coffee cake thing that turned out pretty good. Not from this cookbook, but that's what inspired me to purchase this. I'm very excited to go through this and use my Bisquick. Another best of the best from Food and Wine. I'm not sure how many of these there are, but now I've got 2 of however many there are. Hopefully they are the best of the best. I'm confident. I'm expecting to turn to any recipe within this cookbook, make it, and be floored. Otherwise, I'll give up on best of the best. Another church supper cookbook. Look at this old picture. I really just enjoy, when I get a cookbook, I read it from front to back. I read the stories. Oh, look at it. And now these 3 remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians, that's a nice bookmark. Scored me a bookmark. I have classic Southern desserts. I feel like nobody really knows how to cook some good old soul food, stick to your ribs type comfort food like the people in the South. So anything that has, I'm a sucker for Southern cookbooks. I was raised in Washington State, so I've definitely missed out. Then I got this. I just love vintage cookbooks. Best recipes from the backs of boxes, bottles, jars, and cans. I found a recipe from allrecipes.com. It had 5 stars, it was highly reviewed, and it turns out it was a recipe from a Eagle brand sweetened condensed can of milk, but I'm not sure now what the recipe was. Someone in the reviews was like, this is the recipe from the can of Eagles, and it was very highly reviewed, and I was just like, that's funny. Vanishing oatmeal cookies on the underside of the They've changed it actually. The Quaker oatmeal oat recipe that's on the other side of the vanishing oatmeal cookies, that recipe has changed. Anyway, this will have the old recipe from that, I'm expecting. You can find some really great recipes on canned foods, and I'm actually quite impressed a lot of times. The Virginia Housewife. This is the very first, well, there's a lot of different versions and facsimiles of this, which was the first cookbook ever published in America. And in here, gosh, it's so interesting. Oh, I've been loving reading this. I shared some of it on my Instagram about how she uses the word fortnight, when to drain, butcher cattle, drain it in the morning if it's in the summer, drain it in the evening if it's in winter, or vice versa. I can't remember what. Anyway, there's all these tips about how to prepare a turtle. I just think it's so cool. Awesome, awesome. And because of the season of life I'm in, the Busy Family Cookbook. For me, standing is difficult to do in my third trimester because I have SPD. I'm in rough shape. Standing for too long, sitting for too long, sleeping for too long is all very uncomfortable. So I have to get up often in the night, in the middle of my sleep. You want to get down, honey? Okay, let me get you a napkin. One of the cookbooks I've been cooking from a lot recently is the Stand Release Semi-Homemade, because there's so many shortcuts and I'm not in the kitchen for very long at all when I make her recipes, because I've got 3 small toddlers along with being pregnant. So anything that looks like it's gonna cut some time in half and be a shortcut for me is something that I'm interested in. I have the Mid-South Cookbook, recipes from Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia. Because I don't live there, I've always been interested in food from different states and what is common there. Cucumber sandwiches. Pimento cheese is something that I've never had still, but I see a lot in the South. You went down? I feel like I'm actually missing a cookbook. Maybe it's in the mailbox. I will take a picture of the cookbook that I purchased and post it in my outro to show you what I got and show you the 3 books that I ordered that I didn't get. Then there's the New York Times cookbook. I am subscribed to their newsletter via email, and I've made a few recipes that were sent to my email. They're actually really good. I'm not sure if this is just people submitting their own personal recipes to the New York Times. I have a different New York Times cookbook, and the recipes in there that I've tried have different flavor profiles that I wouldn't have ever tried by myself. I got a New York Times cookbook. All right, that concludes my cookbook haul. This video is very long. I'm sure I could edit it down a lot, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye. Frosty Treats and More by Taste of Home. This was in my mailbox yesterday when I had already finished filming. That's the one I was missing. These are the ones they accidentally didn't send me. Barefoot Contessa, Back to Basics. Then the second book I got that I didn't get, that I actually reordered, is Julie Child, The Way to Cook. And the third one is this Whole30 delicious recipe thing, some odd dollar, 25 some odd dollars, but I only paid $6.79. Let's picture my receipt right there, and those are the 3 books that I ordered that I didn't get. See you next time. Happy Easter. We had the bunny came today, huh? He left Easter eggs. Yeah, you like your balloon? Your balloon is in the kitchen. Look at those balloons. See you guys.